Ever notice how the moment you stop chasing, people start paying attention? The second you stop bending over backward, suddenly they're leaning in, wondering why you're so unbothered. It's almost like a law of human nature. The less you care, the more they do. But this isn't about playing games or manipulating people. It's about understanding a deeper truth. Peace comes when you detach from the need for validation. Most of us spend our lives seeking approval. We want to be liked, to be chosen, to be the one they think about when we're not around. So we give, we try, we care sometimes too much. But here's the paradox. The more you overextend yourself for others, the less they value you. It's not because people are cruel, but because desperation repels while confidence attracts. Think about the last time you were deeply invested in something, whether it was a relationship, a job, or a personal goal. Now think about how that investment made you feel. Were you secure or were you anxious? Did you feel in control, or were you constantly checking, adjusting, hoping? That's the trap. When we care too much, when we overthink, overanalyze, and overcompensate, we give away our power. But the moment you step back, something shifts. The energy changes. You become a force that doesn't beg for attention but commands it effortlessly. You're no longer chasing, you're simply existing, and that, ironically, is what draws people in. So how do you get to that place? How do you stop caring in a way that feels natural and not forced? It starts with a shift in mindset, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's be clear. Stopping caring doesn't mean shutting down emotionally or becoming indifferent to everything. It means letting go of attachment to outcomes, to people's opinions, and to the need for external validation. It's about shifting from a place of anxious wanting to a place of quiet confidence. Think about it. Why do people obsess over those who seem unbothered? Because self-assurance is magnetic. When someone doesn't crave approval, they radiate a kind of calm power. They become the mountain, not the climber. And deep down, people respect that. The first step, detach from the illusion of control. You can't force someone to see your worth. You can't make them care, love, or respect you by trying harder. If anything, the more you push, the more they pull away. But when you step back, when you live for yourself, follow your own path, and focus on your own growth, people start noticing. They start wondering why their opinion no longer affects you, and that's when the dynamic shifts. Next, invest in yourself. Instead of wasting energy trying to gain someone else's approval, turn that energy inward. Build something, learn something, improve yourself, not for them, but for you. There's nothing more powerful than a person who's genuinely content with their own life. That kind of energy is rare, and rarity attracts. And finally, embrace the power of indifference. Not coldness, not arrogance, just a quiet understanding that what's meant for you will come effortlessly. No chasing, no pleading, no over-explaining. When you let go, life has a way of bringing the right things to you. Now, the real challenge is putting this mindset into practice. That's what we'll dive into next. Knowing this is one thing, living it is another. Because let's be honest, letting go isn't easy. We're wired to care. We're taught that effort equals results, that if we just try hard enough, we can make people appreciate us. But that's not how human nature works. So, how do you actually stop caring in a way that feels real? How do you break the habit of over-investing in people who don't value you? First, observe instead of react. The next time someone pulls away, instead of chasing, pause. Instead of over-analyzing, simply notice. Let them do what they do. Your response should be one of curiosity, not desperation. Pay attention to how people treat you without trying to control it. This distance creates clarity, and clarity is power. Second, redefine what matters. Ask yourself, why do I care so much about this person's attention? What do I think their approval gives me? If you dig deep, you'll find that the real desire isn't them, it's what they represent. Maybe it's validation. Maybe it's security. Maybe it's the idea that if they choose you, it proves something about your worth. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't up for debate. The moment you realize that, you free yourself. And third, build a life so fulfilling that you don't have time to worry about who's watching. People chase what they can't have. When you're too busy living, growing and thriving, you naturally become that person who doesn't need to chase. And that's when they start obsessing. The final step? Owning this mindset so fully that it becomes second nature. And that's exactly what we'll cover next. This is where everything changes, not just in how others see you, but in how you see yourself. Because when you stop caring from a place of strength, not bitterness, you don't just become more attractive to others. You become untouchable, unshaken, free. But here's the key. This isn't about pretending not to care while secretly hoping they notice. That's still attachment, just in disguise. Real detachment is deeper. It's understanding that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on proving your worth to anyone. So how do you embody this for life? First, master emotional discipline. Your emotions are real, but they don't have to control you. The next time you feel that urge to seek validation, pause. Ask yourself, does this serve me, or am I acting out of fear? The simple act of questioning your impulses creates space to choose a response instead of reacting from habit. Second, become the source of what you seek. If you want love, give it to yourself first. If you want respect, carry yourself with it. If you want admiration, build a life that commands it. When you stop waiting for others to provide these things, you become whole. And wholeness is rare. It naturally draws people in. And finally, accept that not everyone will understand this version of you. Some will be confused. Some will test you. Some will even try to pull you back into old patterns. But when you truly stop caring about external approval, none of that matters. You move through life with an unshakable calm, knowing that the right people, the ones who truly see your value, will find you. This is the mindset of freedom. This is mindful Stoicism. And once you embrace it, life starts working for you instead of against you. Now go live like someone who doesn't need to be chosen, because you've already chosen yourself. And that's the real power, choosing yourself so completely that external validation becomes irrelevant. When you stop caring in the right way, not with coldness, but with quiet confidence, you shift the entire dynamic. You no longer beg for attention. You no longer overthink who stays and who leaves. Instead, You focus on your own growth, your own peace, your own path. And ironically, that's when people start noticing. That's when they start wondering why their absence doesn't shake you, why their opinions no longer define you. But by then, it won't even matter because you'll be too busy living, too focused on building something real, too fulfilled to chase what was never meant for you in the first place. This is your reminder. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. The right people will see it without you having to prove a thing. Now, go be the mountain unmoved, steady, and completely whole on your own.